Hi everyone, welcome back to Intuitive Garden Tarot. If you're new here, my name is Nicole. Welcome. Um, Quite a bit of intense energy. I'm sure you're all feeling it. I felt some nervousness, some anxiousness as I was tuning in before doing this reading. Pretty understandable, huh? I do want to note that I'm going to do just a general reading for the collective viewers for this week at this point in time. I might add in some bonus check ins later for the zodiac signs. If you would like some more detailed information for your specific sign, please go back to the energy forecast for last week, as well as the solstice readings for each individual sign. There's a lot of information in there that might be helpful for you if you haven't already looked at that. If you have, you might want to look back at that and just see how that resonates with you at this point in time. I just feel like less is more at this point in terms of digging in to the details because the powerful energy is still rippling through me for sure. I'm sure some of you are feeling that as well. And there's so much going on right now with world events. So I felt called to start with some oracle cards. Let's start with some advice and then we'll dig into the tarot. All right, let's see what comes through as advice to start for my viewers for this week. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, remember you may do so by going to intuitivegardentarot.org, and all the information is there. I would love to work with you one-on-one. Community, sunshine, sky expansion. How appropriate. Tune into these images for how they resonate for you, everyone. Community, and look at that beautiful overlay of the flower of life. That is so meaningful right now. And coming together in unity, unifying is more important than ever, as I'm sure you can imagine. So the detailed message on the bottom of the card is connect with others, support, give and receive, and angels. So remember, your community is not limited to the people you interact with. That's also your online community, people like me that you maybe aren't having an exchange with. It might be more one-sided, but that still is a part of your community, as well as angels, guides, otherworldly ascended masters, God. It's really helpful right now, I think, for us to connect with whatever makes us feel supported and not alone, because we are not alone, and that's for sure. Sunshine, this is coming through as the element of fire, and how appropriate again, just coming out of this amazing solstice and all the energy exploding from the sun into the universe, into the earth. All of that is coming through us, it's coming through our bodies. And the detailed message on the bottom here says light, passion, illumination, motivation, and don't dim. And I did want to say that as well. I mentioned in the solstice readings that kind of seems like a mixed bag of energy that was coming through for us with the solstice energy of getting deeper things stirred up that needed to be healed and brought to the surface and understood and released, as well as this amazing creative energy was coming through of inspiration and motivation. I know I was personally feel that. Let me know in the comments how you've been feeling in the past week and since the weekend. Don't dim is just that. It's more important than ever right now to let our light shine and connect with joy and rejuvenation as much as possible. That might very much just mean rest for some of you. It might be having some fun, remembering to connect with playfulness, creativity, whether that's just grabbing a coloring book, an adult coloring book, or I've mentioned before, there are so many different ways to create, and you know what feels creative for you. It might be working in the garden and nurturing things that are in a creation process and just connecting with that. The brighter we can shine, the more we can bring in a higher frequency than what is being exposed and wanting to be recognized for healing. If we get caught up in the energy inside of us, in our families, in our communities, in the world, and we start to dim and get dragged down into that energy, it's not to say that there isn't suffering and very serious stuff going on. I'm aware of that. But the only way we can help, if we're not able to help directly, is by shining our light. And I'm seeing the scene of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, if any of you are familiar with that story, where all the Who's in Whoville were singing. And the frequency they were raising, even in their, potential suffering or having to face great loss in this story, that superseded the greed, the selfishness, and the aggressive, angry, manipulative energy in that story that the Grinch had first, expressed and embodied. And I'd invite you to imagine that we're all of those characters in that story. We all, I think, have those capacities to be aggressive, to be angry, to be selfish. We sometimes are expressing that. And this is our opportunity to help by actually shining our light as bright as we can. And again, there's so much light coming through us and into us that connecting with that in whatever way resonates with you is very important right now. Sky expansion. Look at this image here. She is not afraid to spread her wings far and wide. And to me, sky and the air element represents consciousness, intellect, and we're very much having the opportunity to expand a lot more right now. The detailed message underneath says befriend mind, inner freedom, and expand consciousness, like I just said. So let's dig into the tarot and see what details we can get from that. I'm going to feel into which deck has the most powerful message here, and it's the sparkly, reflective gold foil tarot. All right, what is the message for my viewers for the week of June 23rd through the 29th? How can we best interact with these energies and raise the vibration within ourselves and on the planet right now? Six of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, Page of Cups, Three of Swords, the Star, and the Queen of Wands. Okay. So this is us in the recent past. This is a card of really tapping into your enlightened perspective, seeing things from a different lens, through a different viewpoint. And the character in this card willingly put himself in this position so that he could expand his consciousness. That's what this means right here, this golden ring, this golden halo behind his head. And we're certainly not at a loss for opportunities to do that right now. And to state the obvious, maybe it's not obvious, feeling angry or pointing fingers is not going to help anyone get to a better place. And it's really only going to hurt ourselves if we're doing that. And then we're dimming our light. And then we're in that downward spiral that we want to lift ourselves and everyone out of, right? That's my assumption if you're watching channels like this. So the Six of Wands is a beautiful energy of victory. And wands are spiritual energy, fire, our passion. I believe a lot of you, again, watching this channel have consciously put your intention into healing yourself and the earth and the cosmos. And this sounds like a pat on the back. I feel the universe is saying, we see you, we appreciate you, and we're proud of you. You're making a difference. If some of you are in a leadership position or being called to lead, this is acknowledging that as well. And in that perspective, it's leading from a place of pure intentions and grace. Okay, here I am getting teary-eyed again, but this is a very emotional time. All right, next we have the Ace of Pentacles. And right away, I am tuning into the spiral of energy in the background of this card. And I'm hearing Fibonacci spiral, for whatever that means to any of you. What do I know of what that means? I think it's the sacred geometry of knowing everything, if I got that right. Again, please tell me in the comments what you know about the Fibonacci spiral or the Fibonacci code. It's that seashell pattern that repeats and recurs in nature and in sacred geometry is the best I can explain it at this point in time. So I guess I'm being invited to learn more about that, which I will do after this video. But I'm hearing that this is a gift, and it may not feel that way for some of you, that right now you're receiving a gift, but something very important, very cosmic, from creative source, from creator, has been given to us. And I'm just so tuned into how large this hand is. It feels like the hand of God, the hand of creation right here. And the Ace of Pentacles is the beginning of something tangible beginning to take form. It's been likened to a seed that you plant and nurture and nourish, and it begins to bear fruit and bring abundance. So we are in a very powerful position here to reseed our own intentions, our own consciousness, and our own role in our personal communities, local communities, as well as the human community at large. And I'm going to include the plants and the animals, not just the humans, but I know the plants and the animals aren't necessarily watching this video. This is a magical time, honestly, of reset and renewal that's been gifted to us in all this chaos. You've heard my analogy a million times if you watch my videos about a demolition of a house or a building or a structure and how messy it is. Once the decision's been made and you're all excited about what you're going to create, it first gets worse before it gets better. Things get messier. It doesn't instantaneously happen. It is a process, and we have to nurture every step. At the heart of the reading with the Page of Cups, this is about something surprising popping up, something unexpected, something inspiring, perhaps something emotional that could be related to how people feel about world news and world events. In your personal life, again, you might feel some kind of inspiration that prompts you to get more emotionally involved in a positive way, in a way that maybe inspires others. Again, we are seeding a new earth, if you will, a new earthly experience. And in your individual life, there just might be something unexpected that pops up, brings you delight. It's playful. And it could also be about children. There's a childlike energy. And I'm getting to those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, I'm hearing the message of, if you're able to, get out to some water, even if it's a local public swimming pool. Float around, be playful, just enjoy the buoyancy of the water or the refreshing coolness of the water. Maybe you're by an ocean, a river, a lake. It's a good time to be playful with yourself. And if you're involved with children, if you have children or have children in your life in one way or another, it might be good to spend some time connecting with them. And more is coming through, of course. Children are oftentimes more able to see the big picture and again, the playfulness, be in their playful spirit, even in hard times. One way to look at it is they just generally haven't had as many years of conditioning to look at things more seriously or to take things more seriously. So maybe taking things a little less seriously is the message there. And the Three of Swords. The image says a lot. Of course, there's some pain coming to the surface. And you might be feeling it in your personal life, not just in a global perspective. But one of the meanings of this card is catharsis. And if you're not familiar with what that word means in psychology terms, it's having an awakening. And sometimes it's a rude awakening or a crude awakening, a painful awakening. But many times I have heard in my learning of tarot that this is about not being in pain, but taking those swords out, allowing that to heal. And if you can see the shadow here in the background of rain coming down from these clouds, there's a cleansing that can occur once the healing begins. And that might be expressed in tears. So many have reminded us that we need to drink water right now, so I'm going to pass that message on too. I'm not so great at it myself, but I have made extra effort, and that will honestly help us kind of cleanse some of the energy from our system, as well as stuck emotions. Our bodies need water to flow. Okay, next we have the Star card. And she's vulnerable. And she's pouring her emotions into the earth. great place to do that. Great place to put your emotions. The earth knows how to recycle that energy and create something new with it. It's important to let our emotions move through our bodies down into the earth as well as up into the cosmos. What is most important to me on this card is the star, and it's creating a spotlight, if you will. You might feel that you're in the spotlight right now, or that there's a spotlight on a tremendous amount of vulnerability, right? But I'm feeling reassurance from the main star as the guiding light, as well as all the stars around that North Star. I feel, again, the universe and perhaps other beings from other places in the universe are very much expressing in this reading right now that they're watching us, they're supporting us, and overall we're going to be okay. This is a vulnerable time, but it's a time of great healing, which is so valuable as we move through major healing. And then last we have the Queen of Wands. She, again, with that sunflower, knows how to be playful. And she's in her power in a way that is unapologetic, yet also very graceful. So I'm feeling that the energy coming through for this community watching this video and others is, I think we're getting a little more comfortable with our power and owning it, because we've given it up so long to the powers that be, and look how they're behaving. Not necessarily how we would choose to behave, right? So to me, this is a message to really own your own intuitive wisdom, your own integrity, remembering to be playful, and boldly sitting in a state of grace. It's a real interesting phrase, but that is how it's coming through. How can we be boldly graceful? And what does that look like? What does that look like or feel like to you? I think that's some good food for thought, as well as to let those thoughts drain down through your body. And how do they feel in the lower parts of your body, being boldly graceful? Is there anything else that wants to come through? Yep. A message from the garden, of course, my favorite. Remember, if this reading resonates with you, to please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It really means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it, and I'm excited for every subscriber I have. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And share with anyone and everyone that might be interested. Okay, leadership. It's come through a lot. And remember, that was what was coming through even in this card. Happiness. Affection. Okay, let's break it down. Leadership, broccoli. With that Libra, air energy, Libra is about being in balance, fairness. Gemini's up there too with the twins. And I'm going to make this about plurality, not just duality, but allowing everyone to have their side and have their opinions, right? A leader does not impose one opinion universally on its community, its subjects, if you will. A wise leader, a leader with integrity and grace, can allow for different opinions and different feelings to exist. Happiness. Again, there's Gemini. And with that, I'm feeling happiness is two-sided. We have our own happiness as well as the happiness of the people we're relating to, in relation to, whether it's personally, professionally, or on a wider scale globally. Marjoram is the herb that's representing this. And with this little potion bottle or liquid, I'm feeling, make sure your cup is at least half full at all times. It's tempting to want to give, to do, fix, help, or sacrifice your own happiness for the sake of others. But that doesn't work. So we need to make sure that we're filling our own cup, otherwise our light will dim. Again, back to the original oracle card. And that doesn't help anyone. So, what makes you happy? Have you thought about that lately? Maybe you have if you've watched last week's videos or the week before. It's really important right now that we stay playful and that we have some fun. And that will inspire others, even those we're not in contact with. That joy does ripple out into the grid, into the energy field around Earth, and into the cosmos and beyond. And the more people send out those ripples, I see this visually like a fabric that starts to weave together, and it becomes bigger and wider and stronger and more vibrant and more colorful. And in my opinion, that's going to feed ultimately what we're all trying to experience and do here on Earth. Not aggression, not control. Affection. And this has Taurus energy, which brings me to resources and love and comfort. And sharing affection is coming through loud and proud here more than ever before when I've looked at this card. Any compliments you can give, any kindness you can share energetically with words. It doesn't have to be a big display, but seeing what's beautiful in nature, in the mirror, in your community, in your job, and focusing on that right now is going to go far. Taurus is ruled by Venus, very loving energy, very generous energy. And that might include sharing your resources with others, whether it's financial, and be mindful, of course, in sharing financially. Hopefully your money is getting to where you intend it to go. Whenever I can, I prefer to help people directly. But use your intuition, do what resonates with you. There are plenty of charitable organizations that are really heart-centered and doing what they say they're doing. And leafy greens are coming through along with the broccoli. Fiber and minerals seem like they're very important for us, for our physical bodies at this time. So just a shout out to your own health and to anyone who you might be responsible for in terms of health and caring for others. With all these energies coming in and all that we're experiencing, there's a lot of depletion, and having a nice multifaceted mineral supplement, ingesting leafy greens, hopefully raw or gently cooked, so that you have as much of the nutrient content and the fiber that they can offer, is really going to help us right now, because our guts are very much affected. Our power chakras are feeling this powerful energy, this dominant energy. You know, we all have that in ourselves, like I said at the beginning of this reading. But fiber and minerals are very much going to restore. If you've been feeling a lot of nausea or stomach upset, that's very vital right now. So however you can ingest that, preferably through foods as well as with supplements. I think we don't necessarily get enough through our foods, and supplements are not necessarily all we want to rely on by just taking capsules and pills and whatnot. So that's the advice coming through for everyone. And I just heard something interesting from Nancy Rebecca this morning. She is a registered nurse and psychic intuitive. She has her own channel. If you're not familiar with her, I highly encourage checking her stuff out. She has a lot of great brief meditations and videos to help with all kinds of things that might resonate with you. But she did share that she witnessed as a nurse that many people who struggled with depression or anxiety and were working on healing their gut health, their emotional state and their mental state was either healed completely or vastly improved. So there's a lot to be said for that. Contact your local functional medicine practitioner if you don't already have one. I have learned so much from mine. Shout out to Julie Martin. You've helped me very much, and it's making me feel teary again. We all have something to give, and there's so much good happening. There's so much healing happening. I know from the people I'm personally connected with that are conscious and tuned into expanding their conscious awareness and healing their own energy field so that we may collectively raise our vibrations. I'm proud of every one of you, and I know there are many, many more people that I don't know that are really participating in this, and I just want to personally say thank you, because we're not meant to do this alone. With that, I wish you a beautiful week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.